Okay, today's topic is how do you deal with disclosure? So, disclosure is basically letting all the secrets out for people to look at. And on my Facebook page, I sometimes used the tag disclosure. Um, Corey Good and David Wilcock had a show on Gaia TV, which is an internet TV channel, and they called it Cosmic Disclosure. How do you deal with disclosure of the facts as I present them to you? A lot of people say you're wrong. You're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Um, Mostly because they haven't studied all of the material that is available now to see what's there. They haven't done it. I call it doing your homework. They haven't done their homework. And primarily what they're going off of is what they learned in school and what little they get from the television. Nobody reads newspapers anymore. Some people listen to the radio when they're driving, radio news, but that's primarily it. And that kind of news that comes even today through the television, main screen television and radio, and what is given to you to learn in school is highly agenda driven. It is an agenda to keep you dumbed down on purpose. How can they do that? All these teachers with all their salaries? Well, some people say that there are, so let's say, 8 billionaires who own as much as 4 billion human beings. I think they're actually incorrect because they are usually called the richest people in the world billionaires. I think it's incorrect. I think the richest people on the planet are actually at least trillionaires. You just have to look at the numbers that the U.S. government uses for its budgets. It's, in the trillions. And I do believe that there's more money out there than just the U.S. government budget. So I'm going to say trillionaires. So I don't believe these Forbes lists are accurate, but at least it leans in the right direction in that there are incredible amounts of very poor people and a very, very, very small concentrated group that owns everything. So, what other things are there to disclose? Well, these trillionaires own all the media, and everything that is put out on mainstream media is designed so that you're going to not know the real truth. You're going to be subject to fake truth. And most people are highly susceptible to fake truth because I was going to say they're dumb. Yes, most people are incredibly dumb because they think nobody would really pull the wool over my eyes. Nobody's that, well. Or they say, well, you're paranoid. You've been reading too many, someone says, Cosmopolitan articles. Cosmopolitan was a magazine that was kind of racy. I don't know, back in the 1960s or 70s, where teenagers weren't supposed to read Cosmo because it was too sexy for them. It was basically a marketing campaign. But the whole point of it is you out there watching this video have heard little snippets of this and that from people who you call conspiracy theorists. And it's very easy to, go away. I don't want to hear your conspiracy theories again. And so those people are walking around like drones. Some people call them the sheeple. Some people call them people that live in the Matrix, like the people that lived in the Matrix movies. Keanu Reeves at the very beginning of the first Matrix movie. Um, so anyway, zombies. You're basically zombies because you just, you got your Netflix. You turn it on. You watch your Netflix. It's all pre-packaged, programmed for you and everyone else to watch on Netflix. Some people are more into Joe Rogan. It doesn't matter because if you tune into Joe Rogan every day, all you get is Joe Rogan's view of what is for you to see. It goes on and on and on. Who are you following? And are they telling you the truth? Is Joe Rogan better than NBC News? I haven't even watched a full Joe Rogan YouTube. Well, I find it's just too long, too wordy. But if I was going to hazard a guess, I'd say you'd be better off watching Joe Rogan than you would NBC News any day of the week. But all these things that disclosure talks about, like mind control. What is mind control? It's not just one thing. You've been mind controlled since the time you were born on this planet because everything coming into your mind was controlled by your parents, the news media, and your schooling. So that's mind control. What about active mind control, like someone sending beams at you to make you lose your memory or to implant memories into your mind? Is it possible? If I was a betting man, I'd bet my life on it that it was true. But I haven't seen any machines that actually do it. I've experienced things that I think feel like I've been mind controlled. Last week I talked about how I felt like I was in Men in Black. They have those little pens that they flash in your face and it just wipes your memory. I haven't had anybody flash a pen like that in my face, but there's been times when I felt, it happens pretty much all the time, every day, that I feel like the thoughts that were in my head have left my head and I didn't want them to leave right away, but they're gone. I can't call them back. So it certainly feels to me like I am mind controlled. So does it mean that what you are getting on this video is mind controlled propaganda? Yes. Whose mind is it coming from? It's coming from what I always say is the muse, which is an old ancient Greek term for creativity. It is all being designed to come out of my mouth and for you to look at. So there is a horrible. I sat with dinner with my dinner companions, and I was told we talk about the same thing all the time, and that is how brutal capitalism is to the majority of people on the planet, and how you as an individual are pretty much locked into capitalism because you don't have enough money to pay for all the other people on the planet to get out of poverty. You have to sort of look after yourself. And at the same time, you have to look at the system and say, this system is evil because the system is enslaving the planet. And, even if I put all of my energy into making enough money so that I can float on the surface of this shithole, is it right? And I'm trying to say it's very difficult. Stuart Wilde, the metaphysical writer, called people that are trying not to be zombies, not to be corporate drones, fringe dwellers. And to be a fringe dweller in Stuart Wilde's time, I think, was easier than it is today, primarily because when Stuart Wilde was doing these kind of talks, say the late 1970s, the 1980s, things were way cheaper. Since the 1970s and the 1980s, um, the world has become a horrible nightmare. Horrible, horrible, way worse than it was then. In the 1980s, the mainstream media was constantly telling us that the Russians were going to go to war with us and we were going to have nuclear war. So that was primarily, it was on the news all the time. So it wasn't like we didn't have mainstream news trying to scare the bejesus out of us. And but things were, generally speaking, more affordable, way more affordable. Uh, you could get a really good union job coming out of high school, and you could afford to buy a house and have a car and have a family. Today, you can't do that anymore. So things have really gone down the toilet since the 1970s, 1980s. But if you are here today, now, that history lesson is not going to help you. What can you do about learning all these things that are being disclosed? How are you going to survive? It used to be a advertisement on YouTube that used to come on every single YouTube that I watch. Is the same guy would say, "How are we going to survive?" So that is the question. If you are a fringe dweller like Stuart Wilde, you're going to live on the fringes. You're going to hold on with your toenails as best as you can, and you are going to avoid getting caught up in corporate rat races and stepping on people to climb to the top of the money ladder. Which means it's going to be very difficult for you because the people who do have lots of money doing these money jobs are going to have enormous houses, enormous cars, enormous families, um, enormous vacation properties, and basically a lot of people working for them. Well, why did you incarnate on planet Earth? Did you know that it was such a shit show? It's brutal. How are you going to survive? That's how you survive. It's mostly slowing down your mind when it goes crazy, because the fear that is generated by the system of control on planet Earth is real. Not only do you get fear from the high cost of living and the low wages, you get fear because your doctor tells you, oh, you've acquired a new disease. Well, it's kind of expected because everyone ages and eventually their body dies. So you can pretty much expect sooner or later you're going to start collecting diseases as you age. And oh, by the way, each one of these diseases means more doctor appointments and very expensive drug bills. The fear comes about because if you have family members and they're not doing very well, or they start families but they don't have much money, you start wondering how the hell are they going to survive? It just piles on and piles on and piles on. And then, if you believe in mind control, I think it's true that there are devices that are used that can be attuned to your body, your frequency, and designed to create fear feelings in your body. It seems like everything is against you. The solution is to slow down your mind, breathe deeply and slowly, and stay in the present moment. And when what I call the energies, in other words, when I feel like my mind is being affected by outside sources, mind control, or when I feel like, I'm being sent energy, fear energy, or various other energies, or I'm being sent thought forms that I don't want, um, I guess you get used to it to a certain extent. Slow down your mind, breathe, be in the moment, and become very tolerant of the feeling that you got schizophrenia. You have to become very, very tolerant of feeling like I am losing it. Because when these feelings come, and it's various emotional states, and feeling like everything is against you, you have to become very comfortable, and that basically comes with practice. How are you going to survive with that? Well, you become incredibly good at it. You become very good at living with unbelievable uncertainty about the future, and not having a path, not having a door that you can walk through to safety. You get very good at being present in the present moment, and reframing, a lot of times, reframing what seems to be impossible situations into a frame where you can at least be an actor in the movie that you seem to be playing real life. I talk about a lot of these things, and I don't see too many people watching my videos, but some people might get very annoyed and feel like they're shadow banned, and sometimes I talk about that. In other words, I'm censored. But primarily, I do these videos for individuals that have questions, or if no one has a question, I do it mostly because it's on my mind and it helps my mental health to make videos and talk about what I'm feeling. So, feel your feelings, breathe, and if you feel like you've got schizophrenia, well, you feel like you've got schizophrenia. I don't think you need to rush out to go and get some pills from a psychiatrist. In fact, I think that's the wrong move. I think that you have to realize you're a spiritual being, and spiritual beings feel things, empathic things, feeling things. Most people are very thought based things, and they don't feel things in their body, or they just say, they disregard it, or they say, I feel sick, but they don't want to feel the feelings that come in their body. You have to get used to feeling the feelings in your body so you can decide if it's your energy or if it is energy that doesn't belong to you. So that's the key thing in being empathic. Empaths are able to feel energy that's not their own, other people's energies or unknown energies, and to be able to feel their own personal energies. And first of all, you have to pick and choose. Well, what do I consider my energy, and what do I consider foreign energy? No one's going to tell you that piece. That's a very important piece. You have to know what is your own personal energy. And some people might say, well, whatever I've normally felt with throughout this lifetime. I'd say, no, that's incorrect, because you have been, as I said, brainwashed by your parents, mass media, and schooling. And, most of us have had a lot of hard knocks. So, what we think is normal for humans um, is normal for someone who's living in hell. Planet Earth is hell. So, the energies you're used to are hellish energies. And you might think, well, maybe if I'm here, I'm a hellion and I should feel these energies. Well, it's not about should. I mean, you do feel these energies, but if you were to separate yourself from the control structures on the planet, if you were living in heaven, if there is such a place, would you feel like the energies that you feel day to day are your normal state of being? I'm going to say, if I was a betting man, I would bet no. I would say in heaven, you would feel blissful and wonderful. Someone else says enthused, perhaps enthused about things you like, blissful, but good, very good feelings should be your true nature as a spiritual being. And if you're not feeling those kind of feelings, which pretty much everyone on the planet feels, you have to come to the conclusion that these are not my energies, these are not my emotions. So that's how you get through it. You basically come to the conclusion 24 hours a day, I am being exposed to energies that are not mine, and I don't like them. And at least for me, I can't turn them off. Sometimes I say, I'm being, attacked by highly negative energies, and I don't know where they're coming from, but I know they're not mine. And then I have to live with them until they go away, because I don't know where they're coming from, and I don't know how to turn them off. So again, you have to get very good at living with unpleasantness. What about a dream of getting out of here? Well, yes, getting out of hell. How are you going to get out of hell? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. In a nutshell, I don't know. So, some people say, have a great vision of how you're going to get out of hell. Um, I listen to people's visions. Sometimes they sound lovely, but I always focus present moment now. And sometimes these ideas that I've heard from others come to my mind, and I say, well, that would be lovely, you know. But primarily, you have to live your moment where you are now. And good or bad, it's your moment where you are. So, if you spend all your time, focusing on your dreams, well, then you're not here in the present moment where you are now. So maybe your goal is to get out of hell. It's a general goal, and maybe you have different symbols that symbolize celestial, heavenly places. Um, but I don't think too many people on the planet have got 24 hours a day where they can focus on what they want. That is, what they imagine heavenly places to be, because we're too busy doing things that we have to do right here in the now, like having some tea. Meditation is very good. And even when you're meditating or you're sitting still and you're saying, well, I'm having quiet time, You might feel these energies rushing around you, unpleasantness. You might hear things, your own mind, or what might be the television replaying, or what someone said to you last week or 10 years ago. Remember always that what is going on in your mind is not you. You have a faculty of awareness of all the things going on in your mind and what appears in your outside world. I used to say that you are the awareness, but now I'm changing it slightly to say you have a faculty called awareness. So it's kind of even pushing everything in your mind away from you, pushing it away over there. And now we're also pushing the awareness faculty of everything going on in your mind, and we're pushing it way over there too. So what's left? Well, I'm pushing you further and further away from mind. What's left? Well, I don't know, but I want to get further and further away from mind because mind is bothersome and the awareness of mind is bothersome. So I'm swimming away from mind and the awareness of mind. Where that's going to bring me, it's the opposite direction. I don't know, but that's where I'm deciding to go because I've spent a lifetime in mind, in awareness of what's going on in mind, and I'm sick to death of it. So I want something new. That's how you deal with everything there is to deal with as of today.